Hey, Cash, what's the word of the day? Misogyny?
As a woman, I was prepared for that, but I also don't need anybody's permission to be myself.
Would you have believed a decade ago that we would be standing where we are right now, that men can win women's championships and much of the country is just totally fine with that?
In the 200 freestyle, which ended up in a tie. We went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second. Having only one trophy, the NCAA told me that I would go home empty-handed and this trophy would go to Thomas. And when I questioned this, the NCAA told me that Thomas had to hold it for photo purposes. I was shocked. I felt betrayed and belittled, reduced to a photo op. But my feelings didn't matter. What mattered to the NCAA were the feelings of a biological male.
This girl was injured by a trans volleyball player. Here's what happened. Peyton McNabb, a high school volleyball player, was struck in the face by a volleyball. That volleyball was spiked by a trans player on the opposing team. McNabb told lawmakers in a state hearing that she suffered both a concussion and a neck injury. She said that, quote, allowing biological males to compete against biological females is dangerous.
My teammates and I were forced to undress in the presence of Leah, a 6'4" tall biological male, fully intact with male genitalia, 18 times per week. Some girls opted to change in bathroom stalls, and others used the family bathroom to avoid this. When we tried to voice our concerns to the athletic department, we were told that Leah's swimming and being in our locker room was a non-negotiable.
She was somewhat hurt that the fellow runners didn't congratulate her after the race and asked to remember she's just a teenager. She got up on the podium to boos from the crowd with one voice shouting she's not a girl.
You're a 2A girl, 400-meter dash.
Garcia won the final race a full second ahead the runner-up. Had the biologically male Garcia run with boys, she would have been 2.5 seconds behind the slowest time.
Today what we're going to do is we're going to shout, Free Palestine. Can I hear that? If you're a drag queen and you know it, shout Free Palestine. If you're a drag queen and you know it and you really want to show it, you're a drag queen and you know it, shout Free Palestine.
Michael went on to do great things. He taught twerking in schools. He started a new fitness phenomenon called Twerk to 20. No one's sure if it works or not, but they're giving money for it anyway. And he became the first Olympic athlete to win a gold medal for twerking.
He's a boy, let's leave it that he's a boy. My girl knows she's a girl, let's leave it that she's a girl. We don't need people to bring up books in local libraries about genderqueer, showing people doing inappropriate things, which is an adult consent thing. You can't push this stuff to our kids.
That's right.
It's wrong. It's grooming. It's sickening. I'm a mother of 3.
How long do you want a parent not knowing where their kid is because the kid says they want to change their gender?
It will be a short delay and the parents will be notified.
Because, well, you won't tell us how long a delay. So if you're watching this, just imagine you're that parent and you don't know where your child is. They want to stand between a parent and a child on these important decisions. And I don't think it's abuse if a parent says, I'm not going to get my child gender blockers. But
they now have the rights to take children away from their parents if they don't affirm their gender. This is how serious it's got. A woman actually had her child taken off her, and a man in Texas, absolutely heartbreaking. He's just lost his wife and kids because his wife took the kid, fled all the way to California to trans their child, and he went to court about it, heartbroken, and he lost the case.
My name is Morgan. I am the Ohio detransitioner that Prisha warned you about. I'm 26 years old and was trans-identified for 5 years. In March of this year, after trying to ignore the doubt and regret that began to build around my transition, I woke up one morning with the realization that my trans identity was never about becoming my most genuine self or living my life authentically. Instead, it was a desperate, last-ditch attempt to become someone else, to escape my unidentified trauma and body and mental health issues.
I'll never have my breast back. A reconstruction will do nothing for me, and it might make things worse, actually, because I've had some complications pop up this year with the grafts. I have to cover them up with bandages, or else they'll. I don't know what's going on with them. I tried to consult my surgeon about it, and he didn't really investigate. He gave me advice that made the complications worse, even, and actually temporarily gave me an infection. But I have to bandage up every day so that it doesn't like leak all over my clothing or bedding. And Jesus. From the hormones and blockers, I've been experiencing some joint pains, mainly in my arms, my legs, and my back. And I still have issues with my urinary tract. I have to use the restroom pretty frequently, and I didn't even know that this was possible. This is like a pretty huge quality of life issue that...
Did you feel, though, that undertaking this surgery would resolve any problems in your life?
Absolutely. You know, here's the thing, and we don't talk about stuff, and I don't know why we don't talk about stuff, because we're butchering an entire generation of children while society's going, yeah, they have no clue. And then you get to the process and you get through it and you realize, well, that didn't fix a thing. On top of people like in society and you and all that kind of stuff are not saying the truth, because everybody doesn't want to hurt a man's feelings that has a sexual fetish of being considered a woman and wants, you know, gender pronouns.
But some people with
the vantage point that you have now, looking back on that, is it traumatizing to think about?
Absolutely. It's horrifying. This shouldn't have been an option for me. It hurts knowing, like, I could have just grown up without any intervention, and I could have been completely normal. I wouldn't be dealing with all the stuff that I am now. I'm having some pretty serious complications from my surgery, on top of all the trauma that it's caused me. If somebody just told me, like, this isn't going to make you into a boy, and there's no guarantee that doing any of this is going to resolve your distress, you're perfect as you are.
Doesn't this feel more like misogyny?